Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday webinar. I am glad that you're here. My name is Savannah. I am part of the customer success team here at Sendible. We are going to be diving into the bulk importer today, so I'm excited that you have joined us. I will be joined later in the call by the lovely Costa, who will be answering your questions. To the right, you'll see a chat box where Costa has left a note. You can see right next to that chat box is a questions tab. So if you have questions related to composing in bulk, please feel free to drop them in the questions tab and we'll try to get to all of them. Our goal is to definitely keep them relevant to make sure that we can get to everybody's questions. All right, so if you've attended these before, you know that we like to start with an icebreaker. So what I'm gonna ask, because it has been very rainy in my neck of the woods, what is your favorite thing to do on a rainy afternoon? So if you guys wouldn't mind just dropping those in the chat. Hi, Catherine, it's good to see you. Good to chat with you. All right, so I'm just going to share my screen and you can just continue to drop those rainy day ideas in the chat. I definitely need some, read a book. That's mine. Yep, I curl up with a good book's got to be up there. Binging Netflix, also high on my list. Ooh, PlayStation. I might have to get on that, Marcus. All right, so I am just showing you guys my screen. So I am in the Engage tab right here. And part of the bulk compose feature is that you're actually going to be able to find it in a few different places. So the most obvious and easy to find place to find the bulk compose feature is right here next to the compose box. It's this little box with an arrow coming out of it. And you realize if I hover over it, it says compose in bulk. Now, you are also going to be able to find the same icon when you go into the Outbox under Engage, and you can find it in the scheduled view. You can find it in the queued section of the dashboard, as well as drafts. So just a few different places where you can find the bulk compose feature. Definitely something to check out. All right, so as I dive in, I am going to select this, and it's going to pull up the Compose in Bulk feature. Now, you have a few different places you can start. I usually start with choosing a profile. Now, you can choose more than one, so I'm going to go ahead and select a Facebook, and I could select an Instagram reminder, or others. But as a best practice, I myself really prefer to keep it to one profile or one social network. And I'll just kind of tell you a little bit about why. My goal is to create relevant Facebook content. And we know that Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, they do have a different audience and they often have different requirements for image size. And so for that reason, when I'm developing content in bulk, my goal is to be as focused as possible. So for my example for you guys, I am going to be using the a Facebook profile. Now, next, you have a few different options about how to import your messages. You can import them as scheduled, which means that they will go live and into the scheduled view. You can find those scheduled posts here in the scheduled section of the Outbox or in your calendar. You can schedule the messages as drafts in case that you want to come back, you want to start all your posts, but you want to come back and edit maybe later. Or you can send them to a queue. Now, I have a few queues set up, but so I'll just be able to navigate right over here to see if there are any that look relevant for my purposes. Now, before I go further, I want to show you the categories or the tabs that are here in the bulk compose. You have the message, the send date and time, a URL, and an image box. Now you'll notice if you go into a queue, let's say we're doing the webinar, right? You no longer have that send date and time. And that's because a queue is set up with those date and times already entered. So all you have to do is compose the content of the message here in the bulk compose feature. So just something to note, nothing's broken. It's just a different way of scheduling posts out. All right, so let's say I've decided that I do want to import my messages as scheduled. Now I'm going to select the message box and type in a message. Now you're going to notice right down here, I do have that character counts to make sure that we're keeping with the requirements for that profile. And I also have the emoji icon right here, which will bring this up. So that way I can add any emojis that are relevant. All right. Now, let's say I'm happy with that message. I can come to the send date and I can select a time, or I can click on the calendar button here and I can select that I want this to go out tomorrow. Next, I can type in a time myself, or I can just navigate through these times to find the best fit. And then I could type in I could have a URL. Now, I do want to mention that if you just typed in a website, that would not be the same as typing in an actual URL. So what you'd need to do is type in the website right up here. And then you would want to copy the actual link, which includes the HTTP. Like so. Now, next, I can attach an image. Now, you'll notice that this does look similar to attaching an image from the Compose box. You do have the upload files options, URL, media library, cloud, and search functionality. Now, I am going to just go to the media library and select this adorable puppy here, and so on. Now, this is imported. I have selected that I've wanted to import this as scheduled, but that can take a minute, right? Maybe filling this out is not how your team is going to operate. And a lot of teams do find that working from a CSV is particularly useful. Now, Sendible does allow for you to actually upload a CSV option to create posts outside of Sendible and then upload that into the bulk importer. Now, all you're going to have to, my top recommendation here, you definitely want to download our template. You're just going to select the download and choose CSV or HTML. This is because the the template that we have for you does have these headings set up so that when you import your message, all of the content goes through without an issue. So definitely a top recommendation is that you would go through the template that we provide here. Now, I am going to go ahead and upload a CSV that I prepared beforehand to just show you what it looks like. So upload CSV, just select that. Now I've stored this on my desktop, so I'm going to click that. Open. And now it does ask for me to confirm the date format. Now you'll notice here it has day, month, year. Now that is the way that I set up my CSV, so I can leave that. I can also change it to month, day, year, or year, month, day, just depending on how you enter the dates in that CSV file. Make sure that you check that. I prefer to leave it on do not ask me, or leave it, but you can, if you know that you're doing month, day, year every time, you can go ahead and select do not ask me again. The only way to get this alert would be to reset your Sendible cache. Okay, so I'm gonna hit okay. And I'm going to replace the message that I created originally. All right. Now, so I've imported 4 messages that I already set up, and this includes my message, the send date, send time, the relevant URLs, and then you'll notice my image section has just a few things that I want to go over. Now, On row 1, I included the image. I included an image URL, and as well as line 2. But the original image URL is actually found by right-clicking on an image directly and copying the image address. Now that will pull up the actual image, because a CSV doesn't actually allow for you to upload an image per se, but you can select the image URL link. Now, this was just a Google URL at the top, so that one is a broken image and will not post out correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And now I'm going to go ahead and go into my media library and select any other images that are relevant. So I'll just add this one right here. And again, I can go through and attach images or not. Because this is a Facebook profile, I can decide to include links and images or not. When composing in bulk for Instagram, you do want to make sure that you always have an image attached and that the image will fit in the Instagram parameters. And so a quick tip, if you do want to do both Facebook and Instagram together and you want to bulk upload for everybody, you can actually choose a 1080 by 1080 image, which is that Instagram square. Now that will go live both to Instagram as well as to Facebook without issue. So just something to keep in mind as you choose images for your bulk compose. All right, let's say I am happy with this. I would like to import these messages as scheduled. Now, the only thing I wanted to mention, aside from the images, is that while in a CSV, you do actually have a little trick up your sleeve, especially if you utilize emojis. So to add an emoji in your CSV, you're actually going to use colon, the word that is used for that emoji, and then another colon. So you'll see here I've added a unicorn emoji to my messages, and I'll be able to see that in the scheduled view. All right, I'm happy with the content that I've created. As you can see, I feel your pain. You guys have quite the job creating content for your clients. Now I'm going to import this just by selecting import. And now 4 rows have been imported. Now, if I come up over here to my scheduled view, I'm going to see that I do have upcoming content going live, and this is filtered through my user dashboard. And you'll see these, I've attached an image, and for these, it actually has the link preview because I included a link to Sendible Insights, Sendible's blog. Awesome. Okay. Now, I did want to mention the one going out next Wednesday. If you click edit, you will notice that emoji that I entered using the colon did come up, and so it will be posting live. Awesome. Okay, well, that is what I wanted to cover. I'm going to invite Costa on the screen to answer the questions right here. Costa, come on up. Hey.
Yeah, okay, good. How you doing, Anna? Thank you so much.
Great. Absolutely.
So yeah, you've already covered pretty much everything, just like last time and the time before that. You're really going through everything every time. We do have a couple of questions though. One question from Chelsea and another question from Lynn. So I'll answer Chelsea's question first. Now, Chelsea's asked, does this work with Google Documents? I imagine that you're asking if you can attach URLs or Google Docs to the bulk importer, either via CSV file or straight in the bulk importer directly. Unfortunately, no. Now, the reason for this is because most social sites only allow images or videos through their API. So even if you were able to attach a PDF file, for example, it wouldn't, when we go to publish that to Facebook, for example, Facebook is just going to turn it down. So you can't attach Google Docs at the moment. However, there has been a feature request which has already been raised about this. A different user raised this specifically for LinkedIn. They'd like to attach PDFs. So I'm going to attach the URL for that feature request in the chat bar so that you can vote that up, and that way it receives a higher priority. And we will also notify you as soon as there's an update regarding that. Now, Lynn. Oh, okay. Chelsea's following up and she's saying, I meant without downloading content as a CSV. We do all our content in Google Docs and Sheets. Yeah. No, again, if you mean attaching it directly into the bulk importer or even into the compose box directly, it's not going to work, unfortunately. It can't be processed through any social sites API. If we just have to stick to images and videos at the moment, I'm really sorry. So the second question I had from Lynn, in the image area, can we upload a video? Okay, very good question. We can. Right now, the CSV files and the bulk importer only work with images. So if you do want to attach a video, you're going to have to do that directly in the compose box, or you can bulk schedule all your posts and then go into the schedule view and attach the video there. Now, I do believe there is already a feature request about that one as well. So I'm going to paste the feature request for that in our chat box here so that you can vote that up. I would also recommend you take a look through the feature requests portal. There's a bunch of stuff in there that is, a lot of good ideas in there, but they don't have enough votes. I recommend you vote up anything that you find interesting so that we can notify you as soon as we make any developments on those requests. So just the 2 questions up to now. I'll give you guys a little time. In the meantime, I do want to mention one thing about the bulk importer, and I'm going to share my screen for a moment. Okay, share this screen. Okay. So when it comes to the bulk importer, there's one thing that you really need to keep in mind when you're scheduling your posts, and that is that it doesn't take into account the image sizes that you're attaching. So there's no image validations in the bulk importer. So if, for example, you attach an image which is 5,000 pixels tall and 1,000 pixels wide, which is a super tall image, you're able to attach it into the bulk importer, but it's going to bounce. So we always recommend you're aware of what the image restrictions and image requirements are for each social site. We do have a support article which outlines all the image requirements for each social site, and we'll attach that in the chat box now. However, we always recommend you stick to a specific size or a specific aspect ratio. So 16 by 9, the standard HD image aspect ratio. So 1920 pixels by 1080 pixels, or squares, that'll do too. So stick to the basics and your image is going to work just fine. And this is important if you're going to be scheduling posts for multiple profiles. So if you have, if you're going to be scheduling posts for Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, let's see, Google My Business, you're going to want to find one image that is the right size so that it goes out to all of them. Facebook is pretty much going to let anything go through. Instagram, they're a little bit strict regarding the images that you can attach. So we want to find something that works for everyone. Okay, so we got a new question. Let's see what it is. So Emily is asking, is there any way to preview what a post will look like through Sendible to make sure images will be viewed correctly? There is indeed. It won't be in the bulk importer, so you can schedule something here. Let's do one now. Test post 1. Schedule that for the 20th at 1:30. Okay. And let me find a URL. really creative, and I'm just gonna sendible.com. So as you can see right here, I can't see a link preview, but once I import the post, oh yeah, that would help. Once the post is imported, I can go to my scheduled view, which I have to refresh now because I was already there. And you can see the post right here. You can see the image that was pulled. And if you click on edit, the compose box opens up. And you see the post, the text in the post, the URL. You can edit that if you'd like. You can see the link preview. So this is the image, title, and description. But most importantly, you have the post preview option right here. It's the little eye. So if you click on that, it shows you this is for Facebook. So on Facebook, this is what your post is going to look like. And outside of that, so yeah, Emily, we have the post preview section in the compose box, but you're only able to access that once everything's already been scheduled. So let's see. Any more questions? We're all yours. I would also recommend, while we're waiting, I have also included a URL to the Q's webinar, which was created not that long ago, so it's up to date. Q's also work perfectly through the bulk importer. I definitely recommend you give that a watch because it's a really handy tool, excellent time saver. The more you use it, the more time you save. And yeah, guys, that's pretty much it, really.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Costa.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any more questions before we close it out? Anybody? Okay, well, guys, we appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. We look forward to having you next week with my colleague Marcus is going to be jumping on and discussing custom and UTM tags. So we look forward to having you. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Thursday. Thanks for coming. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.